We have all seen OpenAI Operator, which is a computer use agent. Essentially, what it helps you do is it can perform tasks for you. However, post this, what we have also seen is the launch of a lot of Chinese models, LLMs, and technologies. And this video is showcasing that how newer models are coming out, which are challenging a space which was predominantly dominated by, well, OpenAI in that. So the first stack or the first tool or the company is called Manus or however you want to spell it out. But it's a general agent that bridges minds and action. It just does not think, it can actually perform. So if you see the story, it's very much like an autonomous agent that can perform things within a computer space. So here, the task was the goal was to generate results. And what they are showing is a human machine collaboration. So they have demonstrated resume screening as an example, and upload a resume, you give it certain scenarios, and basically what it does is it has its own computer or a browser and access, just working through all of this, figuring out what the resume is and processing that information. So it essentially gives us a way to figure out what different tasks can be analyzed by things like large language models and what use cases are open. There's a trip to Japan that can be planned, stock market analysis can be planned, interactive course on momentum theorem, which is generating video presentations or kind of store operation. So there's multitude of use cases that they have talked about across the spectrum. If you want to do data analysis, you can do something like a mobile internet traffic scenario, and they have showed how this works and things like that. So it's just doing a session replay right now, but it's essentially showing everything in Manus computer, which is a super cool thing. So it's browsing, creating file, using an editor, using search. If you see top down, things are changing. So this is pretty neat, and it's walking you through all of the different use cases, scenarios, and stuff like that. It's really good and challenges the idea that OpenAI has started to pioneer in. Whether this is a copy, whether this is a next step, only time can tell. But it's a very interesting technology, and as we progress through LLMs, we will see more and more come into this. They have also published benchmarks. So it's just, if you see the level 1, level 2, level 3 different scenarios, uh, it beats most of the other models like previous SOTA and OpenAI deep research models in various ways. This uses a Gaia benchmark, which is a general AI assistant benchmark, which has been using, again, this benchmark is more like, okay, it evaluates the abilities such as reasoning, multimodality, etc. But again, the benchmark is having its a long way to go. However, the technology is very exciting and yeah, very interesting to give it a try, to use it, to get started, and you can create an account out of the box. All right, so that was the first one. The second thing which I wanted to talk about, again from China, is from the house of Alibaba, and they have something called as Qwen. Qwen is part of Alibaba's research or something like that. Basically, Qwen has something called as Qwen chat, and it's very much similar to any other chat model that you have, whether it's you have access to different models. It has access to thinking, web search, tools, etc., etc. You can have artifacts, image, and video generation, all of different use cases. However, what they launched is very interesting model called Q, which was just launched about 4 days back. It's a 32 billion model which embraces the power of reinforcement learning. What you can do using this model is use this as a base. It has shown that how can you use RL to enhance the model performance beyond the regular pre-training and post-training method. So this goes on to the direction that I think GPT or OpenAI also talked about, which is RLHF. But this reinforces the thought, and the benchmarks prove it. The comparison that they are showing with Qwen is DeepSeek, OpenAI Mini, DeepSeek Distill Llama, and Distill Qwen. I think the top two models that are coming out across the board is basically Qwen 32 billion and DeepSeek 671 billion. Now that in itself is a good starting point to showcase that RL model, which is something like 32 billion, is comparable to a 671 billion parameter model. They have given a lot of code samples for us to try. They have talked about how to use scale RL to enhance reasoning abilities, but this is more like a research activity. You can always try out Qwen chat, but what this does show us is there's enough potential left to tap on within the space of reinforcement learning, and models like Qwen, which kind of compress the number of billion parameters and leverage reinforcement learning, are here to stay, and also laying out some foundational work in this space. All right, so those are the two things that I felt is super hot in the past few weeks and I wanted to talk about. Until next video, this is Akash. Thank you for listening. Bye bye.